Summertime in Blackpool and the wish you were here factor. Golden Sands, the Golden Mile, and to accompany the famous Bassmasters trophy, a pot of gold. The main man, Brian Duncan's won it a record 4 times, but not since we moved to Blackpool. Ken Strutt's a winner, the inaugural Bassmasters runner-up in '82 as well. Confidence, ability, Robert Crawshaw is lacking neither. Another former champion, Glyn Cookson, highly fancied to make it 2 in 3 years. The exuberant John Bancroft's a double winner and failed to make it 3 in last year's final. Another former champion and a virtual ever-present at the Bass is Chris MacDonald. And needless to say, Tommy Johnstone, the reigning champion, is well in the reckoning, a popular winner 12 months ago who begins his defence of the title in just a few moments' time. And a very good morning to you and welcome to the blue ribboned event of Crown Green Bowls. 32 bowlers in all and all champions themselves over the past 12 months. That's what makes the Bass unique. 5 ladies as well, of course. Can they upset the male chauvinist apple cart? Well, we've shown you the favourites, but what about those with longer odds? Well, our resident gambling guru, Cliff Hope, is at greenside and he's with Mike Sadler.
Yes, thanks Elton. Cliff, we've heard all about the favourites. What about the dark horses?
Well, the dark horses is quite a bit of fancy for young Paul Strutt, who's, recently been in good form, won 4 sweeps. Hodson's fancied too at 25 to 1 from Preston. John's playing very, very well. There's a sneaking fancy too for this Midlands man. He's a left-hander, Peter Varney, playing a left-hander, Bob Hitchin, but they reckon he's got a good chance, in good form.
And what about the ladies, Cliff?
Well, the ladies, I think the favourite of the ladies is this Lynn Pritchard, who's recently won the Talbot ladies sweep on this green, beating Lorraine Slinger in the final. So I think there's quite a fancy for Lynn on the ladies' side. But you mustn't forget Karen Johnston. She's won a couple of sweeps on here in the past and always to be reckoned with.
We shall see. Elton, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. Well, one man who's never figured on Cliff's board is Roy Armstrong. He never qualified for this event, but we won't go into that. What about your tip, Roy?
Well, I've had a long, hard look at it, and I think there are 4 players that I would fancy, but of them all, the man who I think's in real good form is Glyn Cookson. So Glyn's my tip. Okay, I refer to it as the blue ribboned event of Crown Green Bowls. Why is it so special to the bowlers, Roy? Well, obviously the first prize and the other prize money, it's tremendous for the players, but the prestige of the event and the fact that you're coming to play on a green on your own, in like a final, under television, it really is stupendous, and it's that makes all the players want to play. And throughout the course of the year, all around the circuit, you'll hear the players asking one another, have you qualified for the Bass? That's the main topic of conversation amongst the players.
We had a little roll-up yesterday, and the green, and all credit to the greenkeeper Jack Kirby, it's immaculate. There's no other word to describe it.
Yes, I've played on this green over many years, and I think that this year it's the best it's ever been.
Look at
it's
that
running perfectly
bowl.
well.
There's hardly
yes.
a bump, is there? Yeah.
Yes, it's a testament to the hard work that Jack Kirby has put in, especially during the close season. He's worked hard on it, and during the course of this week, he was telling me this morning, he'll mow the green in a different direction each day, so that the nap of the green is perfect.
Not been an easy summer for greenkeepers, so well done, Jack. And well done again to Tommy Johnstone for winning the Bass after so many years of trying. He won it 12 months ago, of course, the defending champion. Has he had a good year, Roy?
No, Tommy's had a disappointing year by his own very high standards. He's not done very well at all, and he is a very modest person, very popular with the players and with the crowds as well. And really, he's suffered, I think, because of his performances from a little loss of confidence, which is not like Tommy. But I'm sure that he will see this as a major opportunity to repair the damage of the season, a chance to defend his title, and he'll give everything during the course of this week.
Now, what about his opponent, Kerry Morris, who claimed the scalp of Karen Johnston a couple of years ago, of course, Tommy's wife, so maybe a little revenge motive for Tommy there. But what about Kerry? Is he likely to give him a good game? Can he respond to this sort of pressure?
Oh yes, he certainly will. I think Kerry's a very, very aggressive, very tenacious player. He's come to the fore, I would say, over the last 4 years, comes up from Stoke-on-Trent to play in all the major competitions and usually acquits himself very well.
Well, let's have a look at the scoreboard, Roy, and it looks like we could be in for a humdinger, doesn't it? Tommy was 5-1 up at one point, but now it's 7 chalks to 6, so it's tight, very, very close, and 2 high-quality bowlers. As we join our commentary team Brian Brett and the inimitable Hugh Johns. Very good morning to you, Hugh.
Thank you, Elton, and good morning, everybody. Yes, and it's a sunny day here in Blackpool at the Raikes and Sunshine Bowls on the green. Tommy Johnstone, not yet fully into the stupendous form that won him the championship just a year ago. This fella, Kerry Morris, took a little bit of time to adjust to the game. It was 5-0 down, then 5-1 down, and he started to come back since then. Tommy's bowl now. It needs to miss. I think he may just have dropped in there. Yes, he has. So Tommy a single, 8-6 after 11 ends. This for Tommy Johnstone, his 10th attempt to beat everybody and win the Bass Masters. He's been in 3 finals. He lost to big Chris MacDonald. He lost to the great man Brian Duncan. And then last year he beat John Bancroft to win the title. Kerry Morris, this is his 4th Bass. And he's not had a great deal of success. I think Elton mentioned just now that he did beat Karen Johnston. That, in fact, is the only victory he's had. That was in '93, and then he went out in round 2 to Glenn Cookson. And he was rather red-faced in '94 when, in the first round, he went out to a lady, Irene Reardon. And in '95, he went out to Robert Crawshaw in the first round. But he's coming back into this one, Brian Brett.
Yes, I think the shape of the game has changed, Hugh. Tommy's set off working the corners. This is his style, but Kerry Morris, and there are quite a few around the Potteries areas, you know, who like the shorter marks. I think there's some tricky greens around
Johnston, 2.
the Potteries area, and he learned his trade there, and he's won quite a few tournaments, but he's really up against some classes in the air.
Yes, Tommy, he's, gosh, he has. He's put away so many things. The Waterloo, of course. That was back in '85, beat Alan Thompson. Champion of champions in '89, we beat Brian Duncan. And of course the Bass last year. He's been a bowler for what, some
21 years.
21 years, is it?
He's only 36. I remember him starting, actually.
Actually, I think it's more than that. I think it's 24 years.
He says 21, but 21 is his favourite number. He started playing around the Wellington area, and his brother Chris was a fair bowler as well.
Yes, Tommy records the President's Handicap at
Yes.
the Parkville Bowls Club as his first success. He was about 14 then, I think.
That's right, he was bowling at 12, and there were 1 or 2 complaints about him playing in league bowls so soon and so good. He is class, isn't he? He's right at the top of the tree. Roy Armstrong was saying earlier that he's not had a great season. He's not won anything. Very unusual.
No, he was runner-up in the Les Evans Memorial at Cannock and runner-up in the Kelsall Spring Open. But the Des Bamford Memorial, I suppose, is the only real prize that he's picked up this year.
I think so, yes. Certainly the bigger sweeps. There are 1 or 2 sweeps still running, but the majority are out of the way now. He's meaning something of a lull then. But he still frightens the bookmakers. You can't get a bet on him on this particular game, but you can get 6-4 on what you could at the start.
Well, Kerry's bang on there.
I think the quality of this green hue is going to lead to a lot of close bowls. It really is like a billiard table.
It is.
You know, we had complaints from bowlers who lost, of course, last year about bumps and a few hollows. But Jack has done a magnificent job in a very, very difficult summer for greenkeepers.
Well, it was even worse last year, wasn't it?
Yes.
With, a lot of the time with hosepipe bans and
Yes.
all kinds of things that surprising that we had a green fit to play on at all last year.
A number of competitions have been called off because greens are not up to standard. And in fairness, they've refunded entry fees.
Morris, one.
It's a single for Kerry Morris, and he closes the gap. He's only 9-10 down off the mat. He's had good successes in the last couple of years. I think I was describing a couple of the games that he had to Tommy Johnstone. In fact, it's Kerry Morris who was twice a runner-up this year, Les Evans and Kelsall. Won the Des Bamford. Last year won the Wire and the Feg Hayes Open. Both of those were Bassmasters qualifying tournaments. Has to get through a fair bit of travelling, I suppose, to compete on the major circuit, which is much, much further north than Stoke-on-Trent.
And that applies to the Midlands boys as well, Hugh. The Birmingham players, all the top players with ambition do.
Oh, unlucky Tommy.
When you mentioned earlier that Kerry Morris, today playing Tommy Johnstone, had played Robert Crawshaw as well earlier and gone out, he's had some, I know he's played a couple of ladies, but he's had a couple of hard opponents as well.
Well, both Cookson and Crawshaw are winners of this fabulous tournament. And now here he is against another winner.
But he's playing a man. He was never happy playing a lady, particularly having lost to one. But if Johnson is not quite on his game, and Morris is that extra keen to do well, you never know.
Yes! What a great ball.
Johnson.
Oh, what a drama that was. Scored 2 with that little collision.
Well, he needed it, didn't he? And he played the bowl and he got the result. An absolutely cracking connection. Shunted it away. He saw the possibilities and he picked up 2.
There we go for...
Hold it, Tom.
That's what they're aiming for. That's a fabulous trophy and, of course, 7,500 quid that go with it.
Well, a few names on that trophy over its 15 years. Notably Brian Duncan, of course, the record winner, but Tommy Johnston's there. Well, we've got a bit of thinking, a bit of playing to do yet.
Now this speeds up a little bit. Speeds up just a little bit at the back end of its travel across the centre. On a length. It's got just a little bit more travelling to do. Stop now. Well, just gone out over the top. It's about a couple of feet.
It's a strange mark for Tommy to set, Hugh, because I think this is very much Kerry Morris's type of game. It may just suggest Tommy's not happy with his own game.
I would have thought that he's very unhappy about that last bowl, and he's not too pleased with the first one.
Not a lot in them, Kerry.
No.
Not a lot in them at all.
Like our front
If you
room,
have to pick up big
nothing in it.
Tommy's, but
Has it got the legs? I don't think it has. Run a bit more, run a bit more. No. Well, now, is this a question of pegs or what is going to happen
pegs,
here?
please.
Yes. An enormous hold-up now while we have the pegs out. Now, which ones are they going to measure? Well, there we are. Our referee Arthur Scowcroft leaves just the 2 there. Measurers for this match: Peter Lawn and David Fishwick. David Fishwick with the hat.
Going to the grey first may not mean anything, but Sometimes they like to go to the bowl that in their view is closest.
In which case it looks as though Kerry Morris might just pick up a single here. And
Johnston,
indeed it's Tommy Johnstone who's got it. So 13-9, Tommy Johnstone in front. You'll have to leave us just for a moment now, but we'll be back with the match immediately. Well, while you've been away, we've had 2 more ends, and Kerry Morris picked up a single, and then Tommy Johnstone hit straight back with a double on the last end, and he's just led an absolute beauty to what is now the 19th end of this match. Just going to sail past, in fact, has promoted that blue bowl to within what? 1.5 inches, 2 inches of the jack. Tommy's going to be just a little short with this one, but counting 2. So Kerry has work to do here. Really got work to do. Put that one out on a very wide road. Now it's cut back. Well underneath. Might just save 1.
One, Tommy.
I think he probably has.
Johnston,
1 it is.
1.
Tommy, of course, working on a revenge basis for the pride of the family. His wife having been beaten by Kerry way back in 93. And Tommy himself, I was saying earlier, this is his 10th Bassmasters tournament. He's only ever gone out in the first round twice. That was in 86 when Vernon Lee put him out, and in 93 Jeremy Muff put him out. He's had a lot more success than most in this tournament with the progress that he has made towards the final. Tommy, a plumber with the Manchester Corporation. Looking to plug a small leak there, I think, with this bowl, which should be a counter. No, it isn't.
Hey?
Arthur
No,
Scowcroft has just indicated that Kerry Morris is on. Tommy's going to have a look.
Tommy likes it, Kerry.
I thought Tommy would.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough for you, isn't it, the correction?
I must admit, I thought that second bowl of Tommy's then was in. But a little confusion.
Tommy said your favourite, Kerry. No?
Oh, he's changed his mind. He's had another look from the other angle.
It's a slightly red-faced TJ that comes back now as Kerry Morris goes up to have a look.
I think
I
it's
don't
very
blame him.
wise, Hugh, but the thing is, of course, he's got to go back again now and then play the ball.
Just to re-emphasise for those who perhaps are not totally au fait with this superb game of bowls, it's the players themselves who decide who's on and who's to count. If they can't agree, then the measure has come on. The referee is there to answer questions from the bowlers. Basically, to say no more than yes or no. Am I on? Yes. Is he on? Yes. Am I on? No. He's not supposed to give anything more than that, but of course they do. They've got to join in. And
some of them do a bit of coaching.
That's right.
It's not going to make any difference.
No. It's as it was. That last bowl has failed to arrive, so the next arrivals are the measurers.
Yeah.
Messrs. Lawn and Fishwick. And with their entrance, the pair of them onto the green. Interesting to find that we shall have another pair entering the green here at the Raikes. I think later today, Messrs. Little and Large. We were playing, of course, in Blackpool summer season. So it winds up as a single for Kerry. So Arthur Scowcroft was right in the first place.
Yes, I think they may well have negotiated that one. They did. They were afraid of moving the second Johnson bowl in case it That's an effective toppling, of course. But it's strange when both players disagree and the referee ends up going both ways.
Yes, I still think that I'd like to see little chocks being used when there is a likelihood of a bowl toppling over.
I think most people would in the Crown game, Hugh, but it takes time.
Of course, it's common practice in the lawn game. Good bowl, Tom. Too long. You might just still be counting, though, looking at the triangle formed by the jack and the two bowls. Hey, that's not going to peg back, Kerry.
No, and he set the mark, Hugh. Yeah, he's really taking Tommy on, isn't he?
Oh, that was a
poor bowl.
Well, that was two poor bowls from Kerry. He really ought to have done much better than that. Tommy's going to get an easy single here. The question is whether he's got two.
Yes. So if he hits the jack a little bit, no.
Beauty.
That's really going to settle.
And I think it's two.
I think he should have certainly for a measure. Certainly for a measure. Tommy doesn't hang around, you know, Hugh.
Yep, he wants to measure out again.
I'll have to remove that ball, Kerry.
Always ask the opposition or the opposing player permission to move the counting ball.
And it's a long walk for them to look across here. That looks more or less like a right angle triangle, the block, the blue bowl and the grey bowl, and if it is, then the square on the hypotenuse, etc., should mean that the blue bowl counts.
Well, they were asked whether they should have gone to either bowl, and the referee said go to either, it doesn't matter.
I just said the blue's in by a mile.
Johnston,
yeah. Two. 18-11 after 21 ends of very, very tight competitive bowling.
It's not a classic, Hugh, but it's tense, isn't it? I don't know, one bowls well one end, the other, but really they're not matching each other.
This is a very, very interesting mark here. At green level, you look as though it's downhill all the way in that corner, but in fact it isn't. It's uphill finish. And a lot of people will drop short. Tommy knows that corner well. Now it's a question of whether Kerry does.
He likes this. He's walking all the way after it, Hugh.
I don't think he's got the legs. Oh, it has. It's just.
He's about 10 inches in front. You're a foot at the back.
It's a good bowl, Hugh.
It is.
He's got to work his way around.
Very much better than I thought it was.
It's forced him wide.
He'll do well to creep round there.
Asking a lot, he just drops.
He'll never peg back from there.
A good spirit out there, yeah, swapping a few words.
Now, Kerry, of course, can bowl with reasonable strength again, because at worst he hits his own first bowl and knocks it a little bit closer. And at best, skids round it and counts two.
Morris, one.
Yeah, just the one. He's got a lot to do, has Kerry now. 12-18 off the mat, Kerry Morris. The lad from Stoke against the defending champion from Warrington. Figure peg. It's all about strength and length. A wee bit heavy. Didn't give the bias a chance to work then, until it was well past the target. Tommy on a very, very much tighter line. Found it well. Found it well. It's about 18 inches short. Kerry on a tighter line. Can he sneak past? Just. Yes. So Tommy. Same bowl as his first, but with just about another 18 inches of running in it. He's after Kerry's bowl. Knocked it the wrong way. He's knocked him in for two.
Yes.
Knocked him in for two. Oh, disaster. Yeah, he was after the counting bowl, the shot bowl, but he hit the wrong side of it.
Well, it's just the rub of the
Knocked
green,
the
isn't it?
block and the bowl towards the first bowl of Kerry's, and Kerry winds up with two. So there's only four in it now.
Well, he's not bothered about Johnston's reputation as a great corner bowler. He's taken him, what, 3/4?
Yes, I suppose corner to corner on this green, it's about 57 yards. So, what, they're about 10 in each side?
Yes, probably.
5 in each side, maybe 6. So that's it's about 42, 43 yards, I suppose.
Well, they're going to swing either side of the jack.
Yeah. I think there's a bit of a ridge
Yes.
on the centre line between footer and jack. And if you miss the line, then you're going to go out
He's gone round
one
it,
side or
hasn't he?
t'other.
Yeah. He's taking no chances.
I think he wants to be there when it arrives, and that's not too bad. Well, it just trickled a bit further at the back end. Now, Tommy, massive improvement required on your first bowl. By God, I believe he's got it.
Turned over. Yeah.
Yes. Well bowled, Tommy. $19.14. And Tommy goes back from whence they came. Just a little bit longer this time into this corner down below us. Thumb peg. Didn't find the road. This is a much, much tighter line that Kerry's propelled his bowl on. Woo! About 18 inches, 2 foot through. And Tommy copying Kerry, coming himself on a tighter line. It's there, it's there, it's there. Yes, sir. Counting one. And that's a satisfied smile on the face of Tommy Johnstone.
Well,
Reflective.
if he can win, Hugh, without playing consistently well, it gives him the encouragement. At least he knows that he's capable of vast improvement.
Kerry, have you got the length right? Because the line isn't bad at all. Hey, that's the winner, you know. That's the winner.
I said so.
Yeah.
Morris, one.
Well done, Kerry Morris. So he's still there, and where's he going to go now? I think he's given up the corners. It's
He's
hard
got to
work.
change, hasn't he? He's got to change.
Yes. Little curvy one, a little curly one towards the refreshment tent.
Which is all very well if you bowl and lead well. Well, after what, wins 26 ends, they should be getting a feel of it.
Not a big crowd in the refreshment tent yet. In fact, they haven't set up for lunch because it's, gosh, it's only about 11:05, isn't it? Clear skies over Blackpool, and more Super Bowls to be played during the course of the day, so if you're in this area, why not potter down and come into the Bassmasters. It's free admission. There's a good crowd here at the moment, but there's plenty of room for more. So, Tommy. That looks tidy. That looks very tidy.
Johnston, 1.
Yes.
Over.
So, Tommy Johnstone, defending champion. All but 15. So Tommy needing just 1 for progress in the 96 Bass. Again, a thumb peg delivery with the slope at the back end assisting the bias. It needs to be just a little stronger than that, as Kerry got it right. He's got to keep counting if he's to stay in this tournament. That's a beauty. That's a beauty. There's a tiny bit of an uphill finish there, I think. And that was exactly right for length, weight, direction, right land, right road, everything.
It's hard to beat Hugh as well, and he's not beaten it.
No, there's a super chance here for the man from Stoke to pop 2 on his score sheet.
I wonder if he's put enough running into it.
Might just make it. It's a short blue bowl. I think he might just have got there. Oh,
turned
I
round,
don't know,
didn't
it
it?
fell backwards, didn't it?
Well, he turned away in disgust.
Yeah.
It's worth a measure.
Tommy's not going to give him
Thanks,
anything.
please.
No way.
Not at this stage. He just suddenly put his hand up for 1 then, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's Pat Davis and mother Alice. Pat, one of the great women crown bowlers. Played in this tournament herself. Knows what the women are going through out here. I wonder where her money would be on this particular measure.
Morris, 2.
Wow. Kerry's got himself 2 there. So he's alive and well and still kicking here at the Raikes. Just 3 in it now. 17-20. And another little curly mark. This one very much about weight, because the back end of the travel, the slope of the crown is going to drag the bowler with the bias down. So you've got to be very, very careful. Otherwise, you lose them. Tommy needing just the 1. That's going to be all right. And that could very well be the match-winning bowl. Kerry now has got to beat that one to stay alive. He's done very well in the last half a dozen ends, picking up 5 shots. But now the big and probable final test. A blue bowl to beat. I say this is awfully adjacent. Yes, indeed. Well bowled, Kerry Morris. Now, Tommy.
Just weighing up the possibility of weight.
When you're ready, John.
Here we go. Does he make a contact? Gone right out. Another single. Kerry Morris.
Morris, 1.
So now there's only 2 in it. 18-20. What a cracking little match this turned out to be.
Over the back end, Hugh,
yes.
they've got it together, haven't they? They sort of were struggling for the form early on.
Well, when Kerry set off after 4 ends, he hadn't got on the board.
Right.
He was 5-0 down.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever been in front, has he? No, he's always trailed, but
He's never been out of sight, though.
No.
Has he? He's always sort of been able to produce when necessary. I wondered whether he might not have tried a straight mark up the green, but he's gone slightly on the diagonal.
once again it's downhill from there on. Ooh, too long.
Leads have not been generally good. I think Johnston's probably led better.
Can hear me. Can hear me.
Well, that's all right for weight, but
It's
I
the
don't
wrong
think it's
side,
coming
isn't
back.
it? No.
No way.
Wrong side.
Well, Kerry put his first one off the green in the opposite direction just now, and then produced a cracker. So
This time he's
Can he do it
produced a
again?
fair lead, yeah. What happens now? Well, I tell you what, Hugh, 2 here, then we're all square at 20
That's right.
across.
yeah,
It's nice running in this green.
it is running beautifully, isn't it? It's as clean as a whistle out there. Well, it's 2, but the second is really quite a distance away. Tommy to win the match with this bowl. Can he do it? Oh, Tommy. Oh, gracious me, that's 2 gone. Yes. Well, it's 2 very, very bad ends for Tommy on the trot. So that's a run of 5 chalks for Kerry Morris from 15-20 down. He's really put a little bit of tension on Tommy's face. He knows darn well that he is not absolutely in the best of form, the defending champ. He's under pressure from Kerry Morris. No doubt about that now. Here we've got ourselves a winning end. The only thing that could prevent somebody winning it here is for the block to go off. And Kerry's put one up there that it's bang on a length.
Well, it's all right, isn't it? Because it's, you'd think, not a strikeable ball.
If you're on a length with your lead bowl, you're there more times than you're not. And that's gone out. That's gone out.
I tell you what, the winning body language belongs to Kerry Morris at the moment. He's bubbling out there.
Well, Tommy's shoulders are drooping indeed. They always say that plumbers leave something at home when they come out on a job. And it looks as though Tommy has left a little bit of his skill on the dining room table when he left this morning.
Ideally something behind the jack. Oh, he's waving the cross.
He likes this one, I tell you. Oh, darn, it didn't come back enough.
No, it's not bad for you.
Well, it's something for Tommy to beat. Tommy to stay alive, the defending champion. Can he stay alive with this bowl? It's gone way out. Tommy's turned his back on it. And the champion is gone. From Stoke-on-Trent, Kerry Morris has pulled off the first sensation of this year's Bass Masters. Taken on the defending champion and beaten him 21-20. What a fine performance, Brian.
Well, you couldn't write him off. I think it was the back end, Hugh, wasn't it, really? From 5-0 down, he just clawed his way back. He was never out of it, was he? You couldn't write him off.
No, indeed. He's still bubbling as he's down there with Elton now to find out exactly how he feels.
Well, Kerry, just while you get rid of your bowls, what a terrific victory.
Yeah, great game, yeah. Did well to come back, really, didn't it? What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, you actually got off to a bad start. I mean, Tom was 5-1 up at one point. You had to dig in.
I'm always late starting games, really. Just take a little bit of time getting going, you know. As soon as I get going and get my length, I'm quite settled down all right normally, you know.
Much like playing the Johnstons. You beat Karen, didn't you, a couple of years ago?
2 years ago, yeah, first round, yeah.
So what pleased you most about your victory?
Coming back with last year's winner, I suppose. Coming back from well down, like you say. And 20 on 20 is always nice, and
Okay.
last one's always great.
Kerry, well done. Let's have a quick word with Tom. I think I might have put the kiss of death on you, Tom, because we did say at the top of the programme that the first round is so often a graveyard for the champion, and you found out that rather painfully today.
Keep up the tradition, like. You know, that's sums up the whole season, really. You know, I've been playing a bit ropey for the last 3 or 4 months, really, and that game sums up the whole season, really. You know.
What about the green compared to last year, Tom?
Not a patch on last year. No, it's lovely. It's like a billiard table. So a credit to Jack, really, the greensman.
And you had a good start, and you were well up near the end as well, but he just wouldn't let you go, would he?
Just no excuse. Like, you just played better, and see you next year, hopefully.
See you next year, Tom. Thanks very much, and commiserations. Well, right now we're going to go over to Mike Sadler. 5 ladies, of course, in the Bassmasters this year. One of them is Lynn Pritchard, and Mike's having a chat with her.
Thanks, Elton. Lynn, that's a bit of a shock throwing the field open. What about the ladies' chances this year now?
Well, there's some good women in the field this week, and we'll just get stuck in. It's a good green for the women to play on. These corners are quite difficult, but they're not that difficult to reach, so we'll be going all out to put up a good show.
And what about your chances, Lynn, because you've been in fine form recently?
Yeah, I have. This is one of my favourite greens, and I won the comp on here last year, and I always feel comfortable on here, so it's on the day though. Anything can happen. Just got to get my head down and get on with it.
Now, we haven't had a Bassmasters women's winner yet. Why is that, and should we have one soon?
I would like to think so. Women, unfortunately, don't have the volume of competitions that the men have, and I think that's probably the difference, really. There's a lot more competition in the men's game. But one of these years, there's some cracking women bowlers about, and I'd love to see one, and I'd like it to be me, obviously.
We shall see, Lynn. Thanks for talking to us. It's back to Elton.
Cheers, Mike. Well, joining me now, a man who needs no introduction to the world of Crown Green bowls. The game's number 1, and he has been for about 20 years, and the perennial favourite here, Brian Duncan. Now, you've had a good look at the green, Brian. You've obviously done a bit of work on it as well. What do you think of it? Tommy gave it a glowing recommendation just a couple of moments ago.
I think the green's actually in superb condition. I mean, it's running very well, and I think you just got to be a bit careful because it's certainly running on in places.
Favourite again. Now, is that fair, do you think?
Well, that's up to the bookmakers. I mean, obviously on this green I certainly haven't won the competition, but I keep coming and practicing and just hope one of these days I'm going to click.
Now, what about the game we've just seen? The reigning champion going out in the first round. That's an experience that you know all about, no offence.
Well, it has happened a few times with the reigning champion going out in the first round, but he looked at 2015 like very comfortable that he was going to win it, like really, but Kerry's finished very well, and obviously Tommy's just struggled a bit at the finish. Taking yourself out of the equation, have you got a tip for the title? Well, there's 1 or 2 players playing well. I mean, I think Glenn Cookson plays very well on this green, and Robert Hitchens in my half. So you've got to, everything is on the day, really. Brian, thank you very much indeed. We wish you the best of luck this week. We're going to take a break right now. We're going to be back with Little and Large. They're not bowlers. We're talking the real McCoy. Join us again. Well, welcome back, and welcome back to all of you here at the Raikes Hotel. Already had one major shock, haven't we? The reigning champion having gone out. But Blackpool, of course, is an absolute paradise in the summer, and we have lots and lots of stars from show business coming down this week. And we have, well, one big one and one little one at the moment. The one and only Little and Large. Syd and Eddie, give them a big round of applause, everybody.
Thank you.
Woo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There's the big one and there's the little one.
Now, first of all, Syd,
yes.
Where are you this summer?
The Paradise Room, Blackpool, Pleasure Beach. Blackpool, Pleasure Beach, yes. It's our second season. Was here 12 months ago?
We were, Syd, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm outside the Paradise Room in that big glass cage, you know. That is me, the laughing clown.
Yes.
And it's going well? Big audiences?
Sensational, yeah. Syd's turned up every night, so it must be good.
What's the summer been? Is that a bonus, Syd?
Yes, for me it is.
Yeah. Buy a paper to see what day it is.
I was going to say, well, the weather has been terrific this summer?
We don't know, we don't get out.
No.
We just work and go home and then go to work and go, we don't get out during the day, do we?
No.
Syd has to be in the deep freeze every night, keep him fresh.
Now listen, Eddie, you're an absolute star here 12 months ago.
Wasn't I?
Yes, you were. Yeah, we were very impressed, weren't we, ladies and gentlemen, with the quality of his bowls. We really were.
Yeah,
So
I was eating beef then.
instead of little and large, how do you all fancy little against large? One end. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Right then. Now hang on, I've got to toss the coin to see who's going to throw the jack.
You're not supposed to do that.
Why not?
That's cricket.
I'm lifting the seam here.
The wicket.
It's tails. Oh,
Right.
I'll do it again. Hang on a minute. Shout heads or tails?
Heads.
Tails.
Oh, you go on.
Right, tails it is. Right, so you've got to...
I just want to test
Bowl
the
the jack.
wicket for cricket. Right, it'll take a key. Right. Oh, sorry, you want it? Oh, it's my Man City keyring as well. Look at that. What a star. Give the lads a plug. We need it.
Man
right, here we
City.
go, Elton. Here we go.
What league are they in, Eddie? Man City?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, turn up. We're second favourites to come up.
Who's first favourite?
Titanic.
Oh.
Sorry, Alan. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm taking a lot of stick.
Oh, yes.
How about that then, eh? That could win it, I reckon, for me.
Right, follow the line of the jack
You
now,
have to
Ed.
do it. Go on.
Do I follow that?
Yes,
Oh,
follow
do I?
the line.
Right, now the bias.
That's the one with the
That's
little
right.
dimple in.
No problem there. What's this?
You're going into Brian Duncan's favourite corner, I think.
Hey, is that the wrong way? Whoa. Oh, no, the bias. No, they told me the wrong bias. Ah.
Oh,
look at this.
Careful!
Hey. Oh, no.
Chucks away, chaps.
Is it still a draw?
Well, I think to win this one, all you need to do is keep it on the green. So if you just drop it about 10 yards down there, you'll be all right, I
Is
think.
that the bias?
Yeah, with a little dimple in.
That's it.
Oh, well, they told me wrong. Now it's different. Right, I'll go for the Owen, Toby.
That's it.
Oh, that's
Now,
a good one,
listen
yes.
to the crowd now. Listen to this throw. Bias, the other way.
That was an Oasis ball.
Turn left. Yeah, no aces ball. You got to roll with it.
I think it might be going out. It is.
No.
Sid, you've got nothing to beat.
Typical me, ended up in the gutter. Hey, this is a good ball. This lad could win this. Go on, get in the gutter. Oh, brilliant.
Well, thank you very much for that absolutely marvellous exhibition of bowls. Big. Oh, I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it. I mean, you were obviously aiming for the ditch, were you?
I thought that was the idea, actually.
I was looking for the pins.
What pins?
10-pin bowling, you told me, yeah.
Sid can't see that far. He's had his glasses double glazed.
Ladies and gentlemen, two great sports. They come down all the time to support the Bassmasters.
Yeah.
Sid Little and Eddie Large.
Thank you, Elton. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Alan.
And have a great summer, lads.
Thank you very much. We will.
Right, well, we have got a champion bowler coming up very shortly. I think he might manage to keep the bowls on the green. That's Dave McDermott, who was beaten in the quarter-finals here last year by Tommy Johnstone. Now, for Dave, bowls is a hobby. It's also his livelihood. Mike Sadler now reports.
Here's a question for you. How do you turn trusty but tired old woods into revamped championship-winning bowls? Well, you could do worse than ask Dave McDermott. He's only 23, but Dave's been plying his trade for 4 years now, and he says it was always his intention to stay within the sport which captured his imagination at an early age.
I was about 6, and it was my dad who introduced me to bowls. He went to the Isle of Man for the bowling festival over there, and he brought me back a set of carpet bowls. So I used to practice for hours and hours in the hall with these carpet bowls, and as I got older, he brought me up and jacks and then small bowls, and that's how it started, really.
And he hasn't looked back since, which makes him ideally qualified for his present job. There are a number of distinct phases in recovering woods, from stripping down to repolishing, but arguably the most important centres on the key tool of the trade. That's the testing table. How important is the testing table to your process, Dave?
It's vital, because I mean at the end of the day the bias on the pair of bowls is the most important. The bowls is all in the mind. I think once they see those bowls going down, true, I think it'd be halfway there.
Now there is one question I haven't asked Dave, and it's the big question really, the obvious one. Since he makes them, has he come up with a perfect pair of bowls for the big one in Blackpool?
Well, hopefully I'll let you know after the end of the match, but if I can put a bit more practice in on the green, get to know a bit more about the green, hopefully make a few minor adjustments on the table, and then hopefully I'll have the perfect bowl.
Well, there's Dave, very much a Crown Green Bowls lover. His dad, Alf, he was the one who introduced him to the game, and did very well last year until he met Tommy Johnstone in absolutely formidable form. And his opponent this morning is Simon Coupe. As we look at the scoreboard, I think you'll find that Dave has just taken the first chalk of the match. There he goes, he leads by 1-0, but there's a long way to go in this one. The commentators are Roy Armson and Hugh Johns.
Thank you, Alton. And Dave looking very reflective as he sends his bowl out across the green. David, who made good progress last year, beat Andrew Spragg, Peter Fielding, and then came up against Tommy Johnstone in champion form. Simon Coupe now, this is his 4th attempt at glory in the Bassmasters. 92, beat Ron Stamp in the first round, then was put out by Alan Broadhurst. 93, lost to Chris Morrison in the first round, and 94 lost to Robert Crawshaw in the first round. Roy, I think you'd say that Simon Coupe, of the two of them, is possibly the form horse at the moment.
Yes, certainly in '95, Dave McDermott would have achieved that distinction. But I think most of the judges in Crown Bowls would think that Simon Coupe, a couple of years ago, they thought he was the young player most likely to succeed. And in this particular game, it's interesting to note that we were talking about Dave McDermott and his bowls business. Fascinating part of it is that Dave actually has done the bowls that Simon Coupe's playing with.
Yes, so he'll obviously have a fair idea where they're going. Just underlining what you were saying then about Simon Coupe as the up-and-coming bowler of the year. It was in 1987, when he was just 17 years old, that he really came on the scene, when he was runner-up in the All England Junior Merit and won the Junior Waterloo, beating Tommy King in that tournament. There were 327 entries.
Yes, both these players, Hugh, they prefer to play quite a long length. Both David and Simon prefer about 45 yards, and this is what they're doing here. I think Simon's actually going about 48 yards here.
Dave's kept his on the green, so he's the counting bowl at the moment. Simon certainly should get closer than the first blue bowl of David. But there's still quite a distance between that bowl and the block. So David should be favourite to win this end. Oh, hit his own bowl, and that didn't do him a lot of good.
But anything could happen.
I would say that the
Just probably like
grey bowl of Simon Coupe is probably the counting bowl now.
Thanks, please.
Yeah, it is only 3 bowls on the green. I think we'll have to measure all 3 of them.
They're just talking about Dave and his bowl, Hugh. His year has been affected by the fact that in April of this year he had his car broken into, and of course he made a mistake by leaving his bowls in the boot of his car, and they were all stolen. So he's actually tried about 6 different pairs, and I don't think he's really found the complete answer. He's really not 100% happy at the moment.
David reckons to bowl with 2 12s and Simon with 2 13s, an ounce more.
Yes, they're both composition bowls, and they're the type of player, both of them, they prefer to have the bowls coated with lacquer, so it gives them just a little bit extra grip and feel. So there's very little difference in the bowls.
With this green in such superb nick, what difference really is there with composition bowls and wooden bowls on this green?
Just about
if they're the same weight, around about 212, if they are the same weight, the wooden bowl, in theory, will run that little bit further. I think it will run about 4 or 5 feet further. So the players who are playing with wooden balls have to be careful around the edges of the green, because the edges of this green are all very sharp. And once you get near the edge, you have some difficulty in controlling them. A composition bowl sort of digs into the turf a little bit more and holds on.
Well, that's in over the first ball over that.
Yeah, they've got to be remeasured now, just in case the measure is strict.
Count!
But all that time to give Simon one, and I think we both said up here it was on anyway in the first place. So Simon Camp is in front 2-1. And still, although there are clouds in the sky, there's plenty of sunshine here in what is quite definitely sunny Blackpool this morning. Just after 11:30, and the pub doing a roaring trade, getting the food out. So if you want a sandwich and a pint and a piece of the action here at the Raikes Hotel,
Yes, David.
come on down.
I think these two are just at the stage where they're testing one another out at the moment. You're playing about 45 yards, thumb peg over the crown of the green. A little bit of a push in this direction, but you have to be a length to allow the bias to come to the jack. If you're overplayed, the ball will keep straight on.
Well, that's got just about the right length on it, I think. But it's a question of how close. It's jack high or block high or level with. So the weight was right. The land, probably not.
Well,
oh, are we going to have another measure?
just probably fancy that, but it's close again. Pegs, please.
Yep. More measurements. And it's quite a distance they've got to measure too. The measurers, Arthur Bancroft and
it's a
Peter
close one
Lawn,
again, I think. Yeah.
following in the path that was trodden just a short while ago by Little and Large. And I gather we've got more show business characters coming down here today. I believe that Duncan Novell is scheduled to make an appearance here. So, a single to Dave McDermott. Wow. One more each and they're level. 2-2.
David's changed it completely now. Hughie's playing finger peg, he's playing round peg, fires towards the ditch, going about 28 yards. Not a lot of bend here, only about a yard. And just talking to David yesterday, I asked him how he'd fared in previous encounters with Simon Cowp, and he wasn't altogether looking forward to it. He said Simon's got the upper hand, 3-1.
This is a mark, if I'm right, that Brian Duncan plunged to his doom on Roy.
Yes, that was with Andy Buckley, wasn't it?
Yes.
From here down to the pub, round peg,
Yes.
on about the similar length, yes.
Well, David's got two beauties there. So Simon with some work to do. It's looking useful. It's looking very, very useful. Oh, unlucky son. I'm not sure that he's even saved one there.
No, I think David's too. It was an unlucky bowl, a full connection on David's bowl, and Simon would have counted the end.
I was watching David yesterday practicing alongside Roger Morgan, and both of them were expressing their delight with the quality of the surface of the green.
Yes, I think actually David has worked harder this week than ever I've seen him. He is normally a very poor practicer. he gets bored after about 10 minutes. But this week he spent a lot of time. Last night he was on here for well over an hour. He's done all the right things. He's put in the practice.
That seems to be creeping down nicely. Come along, join your first partner. No, probably not. What's Terry Ashcroft think? Yeah, 2 it is at the moment. It's underneath, that's dropping well away. So if it was 2 prior to that, it's definitely 2 now. Simon accepts.
2.
So that's doubles back to back. And a 6-2 lead for Dave McDermott.
And thus far, this game has gone against the book. The bookmakers were in favour of Simon Coupe. He was 6-4 on to win this game, but of course a long way to go yet.
Yes, the previous game, if you only have to think back to that, with defending champion Tommy Johnstone, who was 5-0 up and got beat. So a 6-2 advantage doesn't necessarily rule out the work that Simon Coupe has yet to do. David with a lot of improvement to do on his first delivery. Simon, great bowling family, of course. His mother and father, Jeff and Barbara, well known around the competitions in pairs tournaments. Oh, Simon, you left that one on the mat. Good gracious me.
Count! 1.
Well, Simon got a single, should have got 2. We shall take a commercial break here as the score reaches 6-3 to Dave McDermott. Hello again. Well, while you've been away from us, they've scored 1 each. And so David McDermott now has a 7-4 edge after, what, 9 ends of bowls. This is a very shortish mark, can't be much more than about 21, 22 yards, Roy.
Yes, it's quite short. They've got to go over the crown and then down, and Dave's taken too much out of that bowl. They're a long way off. I'm sure Simon will beat these.
Well, he's certainly on for a couple here, I would have thought. That's going to count 1 for certain. Now, what about his first ball? Is that closer than Dave McDermott's 2? It's closer than that one. Well, it looks as though it's going to be yet another measure. What will this be? About the 4th measure, I think. Yes, it is. Pegs again.
They're certainly testing Terry Ashcroft, the referee, and he's noted for being one of the best judges in the game, so if he can't tell, it must be close.
Yes. Dave McDermott looking on reflectively as the measurers go about their work. These players are not supposed to get anywhere near the measure. Well, it was only the 1. Five, 4, 8. Yes, I thought so. 5-7 is the score.
Simon coming up underneath our commentary position, playing thumb peg. Coming to the quicker part of the green, that's an excellent lead. I feel sure that Simon will stick to this. David's come off his long marks and he's coming up into this corner. He's got a chance with this ball.
Every chance, Roy. It needs to fall over. It did. And that's the winner. It stopped, and I think it was out when it stopped, but it fell over. That's not going to come back or do anything. So blue is counting. Dave McDermott. Now.
He's come the other way in here, Hugh. He's playing finger peg, hoping to rest on the back ball of Simon's. Is he going to do some danger?
Oh, he doesn't want to touch. Oh, I was going to say, he doesn't want to touch the block, because he could have nicked that across to the Coupe ball. So it's just the one.
All right, Simon. McDermott! Oh.
8-5 after 11 ends. One of the very interested spectators, of course, Alf McDermott, who got his son involved in the game of bowls when he was just 8 years old. David, of course, that is. And his father was a pretty useful bowler himself.
Level.
And I'm sure he wouldn't be too happy with his son's effort there.
Yes, David's gone back to the long lengths, playing finger peg into the heavier part of the green. And he's fallen in the trap of getting on the low side. It's very important to play the ball tight to the jack here, because the slope takes it down against the bias.
This is a finger peg bowl, and this is the moment that he wants that bowl to turn with the bias. And put too much running in, so when it turned, nicely in fact, it's well past the block. Simon looks to have taken a wider piece of land and is cutting back in now. I think that might just have won it. I wonder. They're very scattered. Two. 7-8 off the mat. Simon Coupe. Simon, who qualified for the Bassmasters here with a spectacular win against the great Brian Duncan in the Kirkham Classic this year.
And Simon's changed it again. He's playing thumb peg over the centre of the green. Quite a round peg mark. Its aiming point's about 6 feet to the left of the jack. Got to come up over the crown with a downhill finish. I think David might just be okay here. Good ball.
Well, that could have come off his bowls testing shoot. It was a beauty. Heavy, that's running straight through and out. David, who qualified twice last year. He qualified for the 95 Bass with winning the Bass Leighton Classic at Blackpool, and the 96 Bass with the Bass Northwest Floodlit at Ormston. And he's picked up a spectacular two. That was two cracking balls from David.
And it's a topsy-turvy game.
Dave McDermott, just the one qualification. His victories, 2 of them, last year against Andrew Spragg, 21-13, Peter Fielding, 21-15, and then went out in the quarterfinal to Tommy Johnstone, 15-21. Looks a little bit like Stig Inge Bjorneberg, the Liverpool fullback, I think, does Dave McDermott. We might see him in profile again in a moment. He's got the height and the facial appearance of the international fullback. What do you think, Roy?
Yeah, there is a resemblance. I hadn't spotted that before. Yeah.
It was Elton who mentioned it to me.
Oh, right.
And I think he's right. Got some running in it, could do some damage. Oh, what a beauty.
Yes, that was a brilliant ball there from David. Took Simon's ball out completely, left himself in with 2.
Some saving to do at least. Could win it. I wonder. No.
Go on, David. McDermott, well.
Good saving ball. Very good saving ball. But Dave McDermott still scores a single. (11-7).
I think the story of the game so far is that neither player's been able to hold on to the jack. And although it's 11-7 in Dave's favour, I feel that one of them's got to make a break. Keep the jack and get about 4 chalks together.
That's a nice lead ball. Just a distance behind, but not very much alteration to do. Fine opening ball, Simon Cowell. A toucher. Trying. Could be close enough to stop Simon getting 2. That's gone out. Just a single then for Simon, but what a cracking bowl it was. And he has got 8 on the board. Dave McDermott's got 11. I wonder what it'll be when you rejoin us after this short break. Well, we've got a scoreline now which says David McDermott 14 and Simon Cowell has dropped behind a bit now. He's only got 8, so there's 6 shots in it. And obviously Simon's got some work to do.
Yes, David's just dropped into a length now, Hugh. He looks as though he's starting to lead. Just broken away slightly.
Well, 17 ends played and what, 22 chalks on the board. Let's see what they're a bit spread about, those 3, aren't they, down there. It's what my old mate Jimmy Davidson used to call a sheepdog end. You need a good dog to round up the bowls.
McDermott, 1.
Not a very good end, I would say, but McDermott will be happy enough. He scored a single on it. 15-8 he leads. Another thumb peg with the bias on the inside of the bowl, dragging it over now. But the weight too strong to allow the bias to do the work.
Yes, they're coming to the faster part of the green, down towards Liverpool Road here. It's always just that little bit quicker. Got to be there, but the finish is very good down here.
That's a much better bowl from Simon. David has taken quite a bit of running off his first bowl. How much has he left in it? Not quite enough. Took too much out of it. So Simon says, I might just get 2 here. I wonder. Come on now, down the hill. Run a bit more. Ain't going to do it.
1.
Just a single. A lot of interested spectators here today, and amongst them Andy Gregory, the Salford Rugby League coach. I wonder if he's a bit of a bowler in his spare time. A game, of course, that sportsmen always enjoy, because there's so much involved in the game of crown bowls. Fitness, strength, to be able to walk the greens and keep turning your arm over time after time after time. But of course the extra special bit about reading a green and making decisions about what to do next, how much weight to give the bowl, where to direct the bowl. A lot of decisions in the game of bowls, Roy.
Yes, indeed. And just looking at Simon Cowp there, he's definitely out of sorts with himself. He can't judge the jack, he can't judge the length, and I suspect he may not have done a lot of practicing on this green. Going down towards the players' pavilion, they've got to go up over the crown and then down, but it's not a fast running part of the green, as those two bowls show. They're nearly 3 yards off the jack.
I was just wondering whether Simon might be feeling that David didn't do him any favours with the bowls that he made for him. Well then, very seldom have we had really tight bowls end after end. You get one or two ends of tremendously tight bowls, and then they're a bit scattered. So Simon gets another single. He's in double figures, and 10-15. Simon, this is the fourth time in the Bass. One victory, that was Ron Stanford in 92, beat him 21-13, and he went out in the next round to Alan Broadhurst. 93, lost to Chris Morrison, 14, and 94 to a former champion, Robert Crawshaw, 12-21. So he's been into the second round on one occasion, and he's got quite a bit of catching up to do to get there again. Contact needed, contact needed, nope. It's a big bowling family, the Cowps. Father and mother, top pairs bowlers. Won the Waterloo Mixed Pairs in 93. Brother Michael's a county bowler. Oh dear. That's two more for Simon Cowp. And I feel that David McDermott's father is probably not an entirely happy man at the moment. I think he's talking now with Mike Sadler. Let's get his reactions.
Alf, how do you feel Dave's bowling at the moment?
Well, he got off to a bit of a shaky start, a bit of a nervous start, but you know, it's a big day, and nerves is showing a little bit.
Have you put a fiver on him?
Oh yeah, yeah. I always back him, yeah. Fiver.
They always reckon the first game is the most tricky, the most nerve-wracking.
That's the most nerve-wracking.
Do you get nervous as well?
I do, very. I'd rather play than watch. Yeah.
Are you confident though, Alf?
Well, he's a very good bowler, Simon, and it could go either way now, but he's got this little cushion. He's got a 3-point cushion now, you know. So let's just hope he can make his leads. Let's just hope he can make his leads and, you know, go on and win.
We shall see, Alf. Thanks for talking to us.
Okay.
You.
Cheers.
Yes, that's a very nervous father Alf. And David is he's getting a bit wayward. Sort of one good bowl in 5, and that might lose him this 3-shot advantage that he has at the moment. Simon Cowp's beginning to put his game together. Little run of 4 chalks now.
That's definitely won it.
And Simon has got a winning bowl at this moment.
But it could be 2, but it's a close one, David.
Well, there you are. Terry Ashcroft is the referee. And as Roy was saying, he has got a good eye. If he thinks it might be 2, it probably is. That might have saved. It's a possibility. Yes, it has.
Coupe, 1.
So that's a 5 chalk run. And bit by bit, this little cushion of shots that Alf McDermott was looking at for his son David is being chipped away.
Yes, Simon's going about 27 yards here, thumb peg. Got to be quite gentle coming down here because it runs. Right at the finish it runs, just like that. He's got another good lead here. He's clicked into gear now.
Oh, he's had that one on a radar string, didn't he? Just homed in like a missile. That won't be far away, I tell you. Unlucky. Anybody going to get 2 out of this, Roy?
Well, he's got to be very careful here. I don't think they are. I think Simon's going to have to play one round the back. He's going for another. Oh, that's a good position. Flat green shot now, Hugh.
Yeah.
He's gone the other way. He's gone finger peg. I think it'll just hold off.
It's not coming back. You're quite right, Roy.
Okay, 1.
So another one of that comfortable cushion that David McDermott had has been removed. So where he had a 7 shots advantage after the 18th end, here after the 23rd end, it's been reduced to 1.
Simon going back across the green towards the players' pavilion. I always think this is the most particularly difficult part of the green. He's playing finger peg just below the crown. Got to believe the jack and follow it. Anything underneath, it'll stick out. Got a good lead here again.
A little bit more confidence showing in Simon now. Beginning to look like the bowler that everybody raved about back in the early 80s. Man who won the boy who won the Junior Waterloo. What a cracker from David. Yes, a good response. Simon, who won the Junior Waterloo in 87 and was runner-up to John Eccles in the big Waterloo in 91. In fact, he was holding game on the 25th end, and Johnny Eccles produced a last bowl winner, 21-20. David, you've missed your line. Simon, missed your line.
So I don't think that was a correct bowl there. I think he just needed to be a yard overplayed there.
It's a good ball, Simon, there. Yeah. Yeah.
David has left that one short.
McDermott, 1.
And he got a single out of it. (16-14). It's the first time that David has managed to get the block back in his hands for 5-6 ends, and it needs to hang on to it now. I'm afraid that's not a good lead again. Game of crown bowls does depend on getting your first bowl right bang on the block that you set to put the frighteners on your opponent. Don't let him in. It's a little bit better. Possibly enough to win it. But Simon waiting
That's
for...
about 2 foot at the side, Simon, that.
Waiting to hear. Anything less than 24 inches from the target. will win it. Might just, yes, did. Well bowled. That's a bit of a sickener for David McDermott again, who, having won the block back, promptly gives it away again. So his cushion is just 1. 16-15 he leads.
Quite a shorty now, Hugh. It's only about 22 yards, this thumb peg, right up to the centre of the green. All uphill.
Yes, pushing it up to get up the hill. Oh, a promotion job. And Simon says, thank you very much, David. Made it difficult, I think, for David to get through there.
Yes, he's got to put the ball wide and rely on the length of the bias to bring it down. If he can miss that ball, he's a chance.
Got a winner there. Yes,
good ball.
Well bowled. (17-15).
David's in a situation now that wherever he goes, it's downhill, so it's nice and gentle. He's playing finger peg, just below our commentary position. Keeping the jack on. Jack's just about 5 feet on, but mustn't go past it.
It's not a bad lead, although it's a good 18 inches. Possibly 2 feet. That won't come back. Got the wrong line entirely there with Simon. Land, but the weight is heavy. World Cup, 1 bowl left to save the end. Now that's a much better bowl, but it won't creep past. No.
Come, David. McDermott, 12.
18-15. David pushing this one out in front of the luncheon tent. There's a lovely looking spread down there, Roy. Very appetizing sight.
And the feature of this mark is that the tendency is for the players to play below the jack. It just hangs off. It will not have it. Simon's got the line, but he's well short. David
could do with 2 on this end. 18-15. If he can pick up a 2 here, it will give his confidence an enormous boost. Oh, it's 1 for certain, probably 2. Simon to save. That's staying well underneath. That's gone completely out. Now it's 1. Is it 2? No, it's just 1. Well, 19-15. Has Simon Coupe blown it? He looked so good when he was coming right back into it with a run of 4-6 chalks from 15-8 down to go 15-14 down. But he's been outscored over the last 5 ends. 4-1.
David's playing finger peg now. Underneath the crown, it's round peg, bias towards the ditch. It's about 29 yards. And he's put a lot of practice in this corner. Yesterday I watched him, he was sending a lot of balls down here, and he's got a very good lead.
Oh, yes. Now that could have come straight down the
6 inches.
bowl chute that he uses to check the bias on the bowls that he manufactures and renovates.
Now this is a strange ball. He's going to strike at that, Hugh. I'm very surprised at this.
Wasn't a bad strike, was it? By golly, he knew what he was doing.
Well, he must have been highly confident to do that, because it's most unusual for a player to strike with the first bowl.
Unless you're Norman Fletcher, of course. That was a belter. Right on the button from, what was that, 25, 30 yards or so. So, David sets a mark again. Needing 2 for game. And a lead now absolutely vital for him. Just as it was on that previous end. Although he may think to himself, well, I had a good lead last time, and look what good it did me. Gone through by, 3 or 4 feet, I suppose. Simon Coupe. It's almost the same length as David's. David with a lot of adjustment to do, a great deal of running to be taken out of this bowl as compared with his first one.
And he's done it. Good ball.
Yes, indeed. Fine reduction. Simon with quite a lot of running in this. He's after something, either the block or the bowl. Gone clean through and out. 1. So McDermott now all but 15. 20-15. Well, this has been a remarkable game with practically the whole of the second half of the game from the 17th in. Now we're in the 29th, and we've only had 1 double in that entire time. Everything else has been scored in singles. There'll be a couple of tired fellas when they finish there, right?
It certainly will. Well, David's gone finger peg, back where he had the good bowl, down to the pub. Just wants another yard of running, I think, in this bowl.
Well, let's see. He's right on with this, needing the 1, and he could win this match with that bowl. Well, I wonder.
Well, unfortunately, time has just beaten us. Possibly that bowl by Dave McDermott will be good enough to win the match. I'm sure it will. You'll be able to find out exactly how it finishes at 2:20. Welcome back, phase 2 of day 1 of the 1996 Bassmasters. Now, when you left us a little earlier, Dave McDermott seemingly was on the brink of beating Simon Coupe. This is how it finished.
Simon Coupe now, his last bowl, is it? Got a contact again. But what's been left there? What's been left? Is the blue bowl left on? Yes, it is. Unlucky Simon Coupe, a fine strike. Took 2 out, but leaves 1 blue bowl on the green. And that is the blue bowl winner for David McDermott, 21-15, a very long, hard-fought match.
Well, it was a 6 chalk margin at the end, but it was a lot tougher than that, I would have thought.
Yeah, it was a struggle. Well, I mean, when we've been practicing during the week, it was a lot heavy, and it's gone 3 or 4 yards quicker today. Just, I think both of us have struggled. I think whoever got the jack, and you know, I've been fortunate enough to just lead with a few of my jacks, and it just put Simon under pressure a little bit.
And how much of a difference was it to when you were practicing fairly late yesterday evening?
Yes, it might have been a mistake because the dew was coming up about 5 or 6 o'clock, and it's just, as I say, it's gone about 3 or 4 yards quicker. I can't believe it. And when it goes quicker, the marks seem to change as well. So all my homework's out the window.
And your opponent didn't help last night, did he?
But what was the score again?
I think I nicked it by about 2 chalks. Well, if you believe that, you believe anything. Dave McDermott keeping the Heswall flag flying. Well, now to the match between John Bancroft, twice a Bass Master, and the comparatively unknown Kevin Boone. Now, regrettably, John's father, Neville, is recovering in hospital following a very recent heart attack, but John was determined to play on, nonetheless. In fact, Dad wished him all the best shortly beforehand. Boone just in front, commentators Roy Armson and Brian Brett.
12-13, Hay with the jack, tries an edge. He's got to try something. Started very promisingly with a 4-0 advantage before, and in fact I think it went to 8-2 before Kevin Boone really got to grips with things, and since then Kevin has bowled extremely well. What is he trying to do, Roy? Try the other diagonal, win this end and get up the other diagonal, do you think?
Well, I think that John thinks that this green favours a short game, and John is such an all-round player that he's very good at either long or short. And I think he feels that he's got vastly superior green knowledge to Kevin. And he's just testing him out in different parts of the green.
Yeah.
But when you're playing these marks, it's about 28 yards, straight peg. I always think you've got to lead very well, and he's underneath again.
He is. He may well have green knowledge advantage, but you have to say that at the moment, Kevin Boone seems to be playing the better bowls. We just need to know he's on here. Doubt. He's on for one, no doubt.
No danger for Kevin, he can just be on the top side with the length.
One of the great chewers of the game. That's a lovely picture of him. If he's far enough, is he far enough? Got to run on and sneak inside. Maybe not. Strange thing about Kevin Boone too, Roy, is that he very often leaves the footer behind.
He spends a lot of time off the mat. He spends a lot of time looking at bowls which are not going near to the jack. Sometimes I feel that's wasted energy, because all the information that's required is at the footer end, not at the jack end.
It's a bit irritating for your opponent as well, Roy, isn't it?
Well, he's certainly slowing the game up all the time, and maybe that's the way that he plays.
He's playing it at his pace.
I get the impression he's quite a tenacious character, but he's missed an opportunity there.
Yes.
This high standard, you need to get twos and save twos.
Yes. He's in fact counted 2 twos. Bancroft has counted 3, but at 14-12, he's just got himself into the driving seat. He's not rushing around. Different piece of land.
Yes, I think Kevin Boone's going down here to get back in the corners to come beneath our commentary position. So he's playing straight peg down the side of the green, about 30 yards, going into the heavier part of the green here.
Yes. Might catch him out, Roy. It has, hasn't it? He's about a yard plus short. Looking at his biogs, I see that he's 38 and he's been bowling for 30 years. That's not bad. That's an early start. Good length from Bancroft, but not on the line.
Yes, he's in that part of the world that we always think is on the border. It's Congleton, but I've noticed he plays for the Potteries County.
Yes.
He's played 5 times. A lot of those lads down there do that. They're almost in Stoke-on-Trent, we feel.
Look at the correction. Beautiful. He's learning all the time, isn't he? He's learning about the green. He's learning about bowls at this level.
Yes, John's asking, is it 1 or 2? It's important for him to know, because if it's only 1, he'll strike at the bowl.
But it's still a bit tight, Roy, isn't it?
They're not sure.
She's going to say 1 and a measure, I think.
He likes 2.
Oh, well, might like 2, but it may not be 2. Sensibly, he's going to have a look. Well, he can slow it down himself.
I can't move it. Likes to. You're a good length.
Sometimes when you're looking at bowls, 3 balls like that,
Yes.
the counting ball puts you off. With that ball in, it's not always easy to tell. But
I think that's what he said, and she said, well, you can't move it.
But John's had a very quick look. He will know. He didn't take any time at all. He'll know exactly what the situation is.
I suppose if he strikes, that short ball's a bit of a nuisance as well, isn't it? There are 2 in front of the jack in the approach.
Yes, he's just playing to beat the nearest ball.
Yes. Well, he wants to save, certainly, if he's unsure about the second. Quite peg enough down there for him, but it's certainly
Boone.
only 1 now.
1.
Well, that 1 is to Kevin Boone, and really he's had a terrific run. He's gone from 10-6 down to 15-12 ahead, and people around this green will just be beginning to ask a few questions about whether John Bancroft can pull this back. Former double winner, of course, of the Bassmasters, 1986 and 91, both at the Woodlands Hotel. But he's done well on this green. He's won the Talbot Trophy here in 1989 and qualified by winning the Stockport Parks Vernon Building Society competition, which is for men and women, one of those that are beginning to develop, Roy.
Yes, it's a very good competition, running the stocks all around, and they have got one lady, very good lady qualifier that I know of.
Pat Bennett's into the
Pat Bennett's the one,
32.
yes, and she certainly showed the fellas the way to go home. She played brilliantly to get through.
And at the same time they run a junior tournament on finals day as well on a different green.
Yes, I've been there and watched that. That's an excellent competition. It's played on the Edgeley Park green, and the young boys and girls there, they have a really good time, and some of them produce a very high standard of bowling.
Yes, there's a double there to Bancroft, which narrows it to 14-15 off the mat. 23 ends gone, and a surprise scoreline. Most people thought John Bancroft, former double winner, greater green knowledge, but as we've seen before in this competition, it is on the day. It is performing to the best of your ability, and certainly we think Kevin Boone is doing that. There we are again, Roy, aren't we, with that corner, with the jack. Anything below it's going to kick away.
Yes, that lead bowl presents a situation for Kevin Boone where he can learn from John Bancroft's bowl. He can rectify it just like that.
I felt he just got the right side of the ridge there.
Yes, John Bancroft, he's a bit on the low side again, but I don't think he's quite as far, so he'll probably get second shot here.
We tried hard for him. Still on. Kevin Boone, who leaves the footer.
You're 6 inches off.
Wants to have a little bit of a look at the lie of the land there.
Yeah, I think it was important for him to know if his ball was touching the jack, because if he made any contact in that case, the jack would spring to John Bancroft's ball.
It's a sort of end where you may well settle for one, but he's trying. He just gets inside the ridge and then down. It will run all the way, very much like his first bowl. But that is being extra confident, and he's trying. He's certainly gone for it, and he's got it. Brilliant. Oh, yes. Oh, they love it. He is playing out of his skin. Well, that was a bowl the whole length of the green virtually, Roy.
Yes, it was a very good bowl. His first bowl being 6 inches off, he could afford to go for it, and he did just that. 2 excellent bowls, and now I feel the danger signs are looming for John Bancroft, because it is possible if Kevin gets 2 at this end, he's within sight of game.
Yes, 16, 17, 15 now. Good lead again. Boone. Bancroft after it, thinks he can work with the bias, get a good connection, and got it! Well, he's not had much luck, Roy, I must say, so he worked for that.
Yes, it was better than being short.
Well, it's still ended up about an inch short. Wow.
Kevin's wondering now whether he can afford the luxury of striking at that ball of John Bancroft's. I don't think he can. I don't think his own ball is near enough to count. But he's going to do. He's going to have a strike at it. If he misses this, John's got a chance of getting 2.
Well, 17-14 the advantage. It is a long strike.
Watch camera.
He's missed.
He might get his own, Roy. Oh dear. That's a gift too. Are they both off the green? One certainly, the other 2. Gift 2. Little roll for Bancroft, but he will pick up 2. That is a mistake. That was full of danger. Bancroft 2.
Bancroft 2.
Encouragement there for John Bancroft. 16-17 with the block.
Yes, often games like this are won and lost by playing one incorrect ball. And that could be the situation for Kevin Boone, because that was definitely an incorrect ball.
Well, it was the wrong selection of shots, wasn't it? Now, John has played this mark over the years and knows the perils down there, and he's undercut it.
Yes, John's not led, actually. This has been his downfall in the game. He's going finger peg, just off the crown. This is one part of the green where you can give the ball a little bit more than the jack. You give the ball a foot more than the jack, it'll do it all with a length.
Well, he's done just that, hasn't he? He's learning all the time. Pressure ball. He leads 17-16. He's certainly holding 1 unless Bancroft can get there. It's not there. It's short, surely. So Boone certainly holding 1. 2 would give him 19-16 and a double away from a real upset. Similar to his first ball, but with more running maybe. Is enough. Another 2. Kevin Boone.
I always think John Bancroft is very much a Jekyll and Hyde player, Brian, and I think at the moment we're seeing Mr. Hyde. But every credit to Kevin Boone.
Oh yes.
Every time John's made a mistake, he's cashed in.
Well, Kevin Boone is the man who came here as the absolute unknown, the rank outsider. He now stands 2 points away from one of the big upsets in the 15 years of the Bassmasters. His lead isn't all that, well, it's within sight, but it's not as good as he would have wanted. It gives Bancroft a good chance. This is the 27th end. It's the end that Bancroft needs to win. 19-16 against him. He swings away the other way. Neither of them right. They may have got the jack in the wrong place, Roy.
Yes, it's a reasonably straight mark. It's finger peg and it's about 32 yards, and I think this bowl's short again.
Well, maybe it's just beginning to get to him. Just do it knowing who's on. I fancy Bancroft might be on. If he's holding 1, he'd dearly love 2 because that puts him back in the game. Could be 2. Should be 2. Yes.
Bancroft.
2.
2.
John Bancroft. (18-19) Bancroft with the jack.
Now we need to see a little bit of Dr. Jekyll now. This is about time John led a good ball.
We need to see the best of John Bancroft, that's for sure. It's 18-19 down against a man who will not let go, who's played some extremely good bowls, bearing in mind he's never been in the Bass before. Good lead there from Bancroft. as you would expect. He's been here before. Kevin Boone hasn't. Likes it. Needs it to go even further and further. Not enough. So there we are. John Bancroft just disturbed by Kevin Boone walking back. Waits. And now, has he got it right? Has that delay just put him off his stride, off his stroke? Not far enough, surely. Left it short. Well, Kevin Boone, it's against him, but there are possibilities here, Roy. He either plays up or he could do a bit of damage, couldn't he?
Yes, I think he's just got to try and play a length. If he plays a length, he can put his own ball in and he'll count one, possible two.
As usual, he's getting a lot of advice. They all know better. All right, Kevin Boone, leading 19-18. Going to come all the way round, given this more land, wants to find a way round the bowls in the approach, and he's miles away. So he's left something here for John Bancroft to feel, gives him a little bit of a chance of getting back. They're both level on 19 across. 19 across. John Bancroft, former double winner of the Bass, against the unknown Kevin Boone.
John's playing round peg, finger peg, bias towards the ditch, about 27 yards. And he figures he's caught him out once the other way. Why not try this?
Yes,
Finger
he got
peg.
away, didn't he, with that last stand? But this time he's led there or thereabouts.
Yep.
Yep, that's all right. Settle for that. So, Kevin Boone. Tricky little ball. Has he got it? Has he got it? He's got it! That's one. Oh. Appreciated all round the green. Now then, John Bancroft. It's got to be far enough. He could just do it disturbing the bow, but it'll just peck through. So, Boone certainly holding one. You want to come and look at this, Roy. One for the unlikeliest of victories.
Yeah, there's all sorts of danger here for Kevin.
Yes.
If he touches the jack at all, he'll put John Bancroft in. I think the only thing he can do, he's got to try for game, but if he puts it wide enough, he can't do any danger, and he just might come in with a length.
I tell you what, if he runs that jack, he could lose the game, couldn't he?
Certainly could, yes, he could put John in for two if he's like a yard overplayed, but he just wants to be a length if he can.
He's got to go for it, Roy.
Very difficult. But
well, he's got to go for it. As it stands, he's 2019. He wants this one for victory against a former double winner of the Bass. Has he got it right? Played one, they shout. They think he's played one. He stands waiting. Is that enough? Has he done it? He may well have done it. John accepts one. Looks like two. It is two. Oh, what a massive Bass upset. Kevin Boone, the rank outsider from Congleton, against the former double winner John Bancroft, and Kevin Boone wins it 21-19. So from another happy winner to someone else who's going to show us precisely how this game of on green bowls should be played. Would you welcome the one and only Duncan Norvell?
Thank you. Hello. How are you, Elton?
I'm very well. How's your summer season going? Where are we?
I'm at South Pier, there till November the 2nd. It's a very good show. You must come along and have a look at it.
It's a real family show, isn't it? You've got a very clean comedian called Roy Chubby Brown as well, isn't it?
No, he's on after me. I just hope we don't pick the same mic up.
You don't share the same dressing room, surely?
No, we're not in the same dressing room. We've got a great show. We've got a young comic called Barnaby on it, a guy called Dick Van Winkle, an instrumentalist, and a trio called Trilogy, who are very good. So it's something there for all the family. It's good.
Right, now you enjoyed the bowls. We're now going to see whether you can play. Now the problem is you haven't got an opponent just yet.
No.
Who are you going to play with?
Anybody.
Well, I found one actually. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome the coach to Salford Rugby League Club. Congratulations on their promotion to Super League, Andy Gregory.
I'm fine, thank you. Good.
Well done, Andy. What a super season for you.
Yeah, it's been a good year. Now the hard work begins. We're in Super League. The lads are looking forward to it, but we've got a couple of games left. Hopefully we'll finish the season on high at the Premiership final at Old Trafford.
Okay, well, I know you played this game before because a couple of your best mates are Brian Duncan and Norman Fletcher, so I think what we'll do is give Duncan the honour of laying the jack.
Put this down there, did I?
That's right.
Yeah.
Barefooted, by the way. Well,
Yeah.
socks.
I've took my heels off.
Took his high heels off. Right, away you go.
You better move.
Which pegs are you using? Finger.
Look at that. Oh, chase me.
Right, you've got to follow that now with you.
All right. We ain't stopped yet.
That is a very smooth looking action, isn't it? Got the approval of Mary Ashcroft, one of our referees this week. Hey Andy, you might have a bowl to beat here. Hey, how about that?
Good luck, Andy. It's the wrong shape, isn't it, for you?
I'm better passing it like that.
Wrong shape ball for you, Andy.
He's played before.
He's played before, Andy.
No. Oh, chase me, that's there. Stop.
I tell you what, you could get hooked on this, Duncan. It's
a good game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good game.
Oops. Bouncer again.
Needs a connection, Andy. It's not got one.
It's gone through.
He's beat, man.
Who's in? I can tell you.
Congratulations, well played, mate.
Well, what a turn-up, what a turn-up. Listen, thanks very much indeed, Andy, for coming down. Lovely to see you. Duncan, all the best for the summer series.
Thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause, Andy Gregory and Duncan Norvell.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Well, that was just a bit of fun, the serious stuff here. 3 former champions out this morning. Colin MacDonald, Tommy Johnstone, the defending champion, and John Bancroft under unfortunate circumstances. We do wish his dad Neville all the best. Roy, very quickly, it's not the first time we've had a day of surprises on day one, is it?
No, indeed, it's happened many times before, and I feel that in Tommy Johnston's case, I rather think he lost the game rather than Kerry Morris win it.
Okay, Roy, thanks very much indeed. We will be back at 10:30 tomorrow morning with the game's top man, the man who's ruled the world of Crown Green Bowls for over 20 years, Brian Duncan.